I'm so bored. I just woke up. I feel so good. I love daytime sleeping. I'm sleeping. I took a nap. I miss Jaden and I miss Kaylani. Jaden and Kaylani have been separated from me since 2016 when I was raped by Michael Norman and by Horribilis because I don't have financial stability. So I moved out of Eggers and I's home. To find peace in that I have been raped and heal from the rape towards me. To seek financial stability for myself once again. I'm self-employed, so it was very much devastating to be raped. Like I lost all of my willingness to be creative after I got raped by Michael Norman and whatever it is in 2016. Plus, I also was fearful of Edgar getting hurt because Jorge Aviles is an ignorant fool. So I had met Jorge Aviles when he was, and I'm like 14 years older than him, so I refused to have sex with him when he was that young. I'm not his babysitter. I wasn't financially stable because I am a victim of theft, rape, domestic violence, abuse, sexual harassment, genocide. So I didn't pursue him to date him, and wow, did he grow up to be better? So I was dancing in garden, patio bar by myself, enjoying myself. And Jorge showed up one night after not dancing a few songs. With him, he placed my hand on his chest and said to me, "Es que tú no tienes algo así en tu casa for your hasn't ever gotten in the way of me being 20 hours." My finances have, when I began to live with Edgar in 2004, 2003, he asked me if I wasn't gonna see my buddies, meaning the people that raped me, and I said no, that I didn't want to be raped, that I didn't want to have to work to take them out and do illegal male prostitute. They have my money, they steal it from me, they spend it on hoes, and then they have the expectation that I need to work to take them out. They're so dumb. They're so dumb. Yeah, 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 yeah. What else? 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 So I continue to be a victim of theft, domestic violence, abuse. It's 2025. I have a GoFundMe campaign that I've shared online several times for 2 years now. I'm being patient. It's slow, however, very promising. I continue to share it with people on Instagram and through email, hoping like that it reaches the right person and maybe in people's spam folder too. A lot of people don't know me. A lot of people possibly think that I'm gonna kill them in self-defense for having stayed in my homes without my permission, for having driven my vehicles without my permission, for having eaten my food and drank my water without my permission. And I'm not even aware. Maybe that's some of those people stayed in my homes without my permission and drove my vehicles without my permission and drank my water and ate my food without my permission. I don't keep tabs of those ordering my food without my permission. What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm tagging the FBI, West Coast, NATO, Interpol, Justice, the Department of Homeland Security in the United States, the Interpol, there, how do you say that? The U.S. Army, the Marines in the United States Navy, the U.S. Navy, and the International Criminal Court is seeking the death penalty for those that have gotten in the way of me receiving money, those that have stolen my money, those that have stayed in my homes without my permission, those that have driven my vehicles without my permission, and those that have eaten my food and my water in my homes without my permission. What else? 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 I'm so bored. What else? So bored. You can get me money in person. It's AR Blue Sky is ice cold. Hey, look, a sleeping sun, no spirit to my heart. Arlene Lorenzo art shop INTAYIAFAY. I am tire shop. My GoFundMe campaign is gofundme.com/f/Arlene-Lorenzo. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Those two. I'm seeking the death penalty for Marian de Lorenzo, una puerca. She went on to lose my virginity for me with my precious decades ago. I'm seeking the death penalty for Daddy Lorenzo Chaparro, who also went on to lose my virginity for me decades ago. Looking into down porca, gross. Thereafter seeking who I fall in love with if I make that public to try to rape those people. Beware. They possibly have held hostages. People that I talked to or dated through Tinder. I went into 2020 when I said that I don't have any money on Facebook, laughing. Their relatives, their neighbors, and colleagues. What else? What else? What else? What else? Or if you thought that it was grow up to be like, give it back to me. Ew, those people that I grew from the school. Ew. Ellos galdean vaina y pene, roban dinero. Ellos no dejan ir a los hombres y a las mujeres al baño tranquilos ni tranquilas. Ew. Oh, they think that the FBI is going to reply to me. No fucking way. That's how dumb those people that I grew up around are. Ew. Like, I mean, here's the update of the case. Mañana vamos a arrestar a tu hermana. Is that why they read those people that I grew up around? They're like, cuando el FBI iba a decir qué día van a arrestar a la hermana o que ya arrestaron a la hermana. Ok, ya el hermano está muerto, ya está en la cárcel. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah. They're hoping that William Levy me diga hola en la pobreza through Facebook para que quitármelo. Oh. Ew, those people that I grew up around, una vergüenza. Qué gente puerca. What else? What else? I'm making myself a grilled cheese sandwich, eating it with chips. Yeah, I think I have dark chocolate caramels. Like, yeah. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm so bored. I've been creating. I need to sweep my floor. I love how this piece is coming out, and then I'll fill it in with tiny little stitches. I took a nap on this earlier, and then I moved over to my bed so I can find myself. Again, I don't want to get my cup wet. What else? What else? What else? I'm so bored. I'm so bored. What else? What else? Dark chocolate caramels. And my rest on myself. I have a water later. I love it. Chocolate is like with that creamer instead of milk. Let me try it later. In the meantime, I feel so bad if those leeches are ever pestering him. Every day as if he and I are together, oh, he's just a baby daddy, which is very much sexy. But he's just a baby daddy. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm so good. What else? I'm gonna shop at Target later. I want spinach artichoke dip and crackers and grapes. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What is it? Good together. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? In the meantime, those leeches that terrorized me in kindergarten go around saying we needed to kill her before her good together live from her apartment. What do you mean, Sonia? Yo te había comido en la casa de ella de año y ella tenía que vengar allí. Ew. So my parents signed me up to school, to go to school when I was in kindergarten instead of homeschooling me, instead of listening to my wishes. So I got terrorized by older kids and people in my classes that are sex addicts, leeches. They were upset that they were being sent to school. So they sexually harass people, complain all day that they want to be fucking themselves all day long. They're always in a bad mood. Yeah. And they would say that behaving well in school is an American way and they reject that. Ew, because they saw that. The only shows that they saw people behaving well were American TV shows. So they based their life on novelas and TV shows. even if it means them going to jail or being exposed as leeches. Porque Mr. Arlene Suarez, I mean, Mr. Arlene Lorenzo, actually, that's where the law. All I need is one screenshot to expose how gross those people that steal from me and want to rape me are. Based on my personality, didn't know to find out more. That's expected of me. I have a life that I live. Right now, I'm eating myself a grilled cheese sandwich. That's good at cheese. And I'm about music Saturday bread. It's so good that it's bread. It's so good. I'm eating chips. I'm currently eating this. It's so good too. So it's not in me to see cheese or approval from people. I approve myself. I'm one of the few people in my family of origin that has ever stolen a vehicle. That is a 610. That is this stitching soon after I eat. I'll lay on my bed. Stitching soon. This is Barbara's space from home. My apartment was so dirty a few weeks ago. I have a threshold of how dirty I let it get based on my stress, and I don't have money to practice self-care. What else? Yeah. Those people that I grew up around wanted to tell me so. Don't mention my name on your Facebook. Don't go on saying that you want to do stuff like attending concerts if you don't have money. You're gonna look so lame. I still don't have money. That's because they look so dumb out there stealing my money. Ew, they're so gross. Ew. Those people that are farmers are so gross. In the meantime, while we're poking, no hace nada. In the past 5 years, under the poverty level, I've shopped at Target, Walmart, Dollar Tree, Pop Shelf, Michael's, Browns, Hobby Lobby. I shopped at Gap, Old Navy. I browsed at Banana Republic. I shopped at AT&T. Under the poverty level in the past 5 years, I shopped at Best Buy. Under the poverty level, I've been at La Madeleine in the past 5 years. Panero. I also ate at Central Market each week. San Luciano's. Under the poverty level in the past 5 years, I shopped at Macy's. Under the poverty level in the past 5 years, I ate at Chick-fil-A. I took McDonald's. Under the poverty level in the past 5 years, I ate at Stoneworks. Under the poverty years, I ate unusual. Ate at Starbucks, at the corner bakery. I ate at Luna Rosa, number 9, Sweet Baker. What else? Excuse me, if anybody in person. Pero luego cuando digan que era the sky, los dinosaurs, los dinosaurs, I don't even know what I think of him. I'm sorry. My GoFundMe campaign is gofundme.com/Arlene. My current situation right now is so this is a live video. What else? I'm getting to later. What else? What's the date? What else? My siblings love to pretend that they're smart when they are. Yeah. They can talk people's ears out for. That's what I'm talking. They care about knowing about me. Si yo mamo pene o no mamo pene. Yeah. Son una vergüenza. What else? It's so good. Shower. If I'm evicted from this apartment next month because I don't have money to pay fees, I'm hanging out from Monday to Friday at home. Yes, this is still live. My phone keeps ringing phone. It's those healthcare spam calls that someone possibly signed me up for to torment me with my phone ringing all the time. Except Servidor, I don't talk to him ever. And I don't have low confidence at the moment or self-esteem, so that's just my phone ringing. And maybe annoyed if one of those leeches that raped me decades ago is trying to torment me with my phone ringing. When one is lonely, one is susceptible to kill oneself. I'm not. Coco lonely. He didn't get to me. I don't allow him to. I don't talk to him for decades. Porque lo que yo tengo memory of him. Él me tiene más miedo por eso. Fall. Ew. In the meantime, those leeches that I work around want to know personal details of me. I grab and such. How Jaden can only work conceived. Yeah. They think that one can't wait to have sex to tell them about it. Ew. Oh, cute. Someone's taking a look. What else? So more. Listening to a book that I checked out today. They're taking a look about how my family origin for the most part are so dumb trying to cause a bout of diarrhea to be so that I died and my death goes just because I don't let them rape me, think that I'm at zero value. And that not even the police will show up for me. Or that people have to check out will mistreat me. They've been raping possibly people children and the police department for days, anticipating that if I ran out of money, that those people would stand up for them. And maybe those people behind the scenes are like, don't worry, I saw you when I checked your out. I didn't check your name, but I gave you a sticker. Those people that I grew up around are so gross, they're so immature. Yeah. What? So weird. I had the funniest conversation with Kalani earlier. I messaged her good morning early this morning, and this afternoon I checked the messages and she said good morning, and then I mean afternoon. I replied more good morning because I was about to take a nap. Earlier, when I just woke up from my nap and I texted her, I was like, I was about to take a nap when I received your message, so I replied. These leeches hate it when one is happy. They want to rape Kaylani. They want to rape me. These people are so disgusting. They're so aggressive, so gross. Ew, me molesta todo lo que uno hace. Esta tipa es una asquerosidad. Una puerca asquerosa se quedó en mi casa sin mi permiso. Manejó mi vehículo sin mi permiso. Se robó mi dinero. Ew. Lost my virginity for me. Ew. You can decapitate Carol Cristina, whatever her last name is. In self-defense if you have immunity to do so. You can decapitate Facebook in 2020. You can decapitate me on means that it's a little son that rape. I hate crime towards me. 5 years old in kindergarten. Ew, and they still pursue. Ew. My parents signed me up for school and I discovered that their son's not as leashes. Por ejemplo, estaban peleando. So incompatible with me. Miss Goody Tissues and everything else. Okay. What else? I don't ever want them in my life and they retaliate with trying to rape me. They raped me in my childhood bedroom. They steal my money. They have me as a hostage thinking that they have first dibs on my vagina when they don't. So dumb. Todo lo que veo a todas las otras. Todo lo que mi hermana le dicen, ellos se lo creen y que trying to teach my siblings to speak properly and behave properly. So if my siblings say get her pregnant, they're like, okay, then I'll get her pregnant. That's not how you teach someone to speak properly. By acting on what those leeches say. That's why they sabotage each other. Fool. Let me turn this into this. Didn't save. I was like at 70% this morning.
He was simply giving. Alternative facts. Lies. Half lies. That disinformation disguised as the truth would become so much so that CNN even began running a regular fact check survey.
They were planning on killing me on 9/11, 2001. They possibly had a backup date.
And I falsehoods. During the COVID-19 pandemic, however, verifiable fact and alternative fact frequently became so blurred that the truth was often in danger of being lost altogether. On May 20...
What? How these leeches are trying to kill me.
No punches. President Donald Trump's response to the coronavirus pandemic has been deeply dishonest. He has been dishonest about testing. He has been dishonest about his travel restrictions. He has been dishonest about the supply.
These leeches get in the way.
Lies his predecessor left him about what his opponents have said about the pandemic, even about what he has said himself. CNN's data showed that over the first 14 weeks of the crisis in the U.S., from January 27th, when his task force started meeting, to May 3rd, when the number of total cases in the nation reached 1.2 million, the president made no fewer than 215 false claims, specifically about the pandemic, with many further false claims about related subjects, like the economy.
If he were to speak freely, what would he say?
And China. 37 of those alternative facts concern testing, including 12 instances in which the president tried to insist that testing problems were due to his administration inheriting bad, broken, and obsolete tests from the Obama administration. The truth was that the faulty initial tests were created in early 2020 by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. As COVID-19 was an entirely new virus, the test could not possibly have been inherited. For any previous administration. He is lying. He is lying 100%. He is lying because he is trying to shift blame to others, even if the attempt is totally nonsensical. Greg Gonzalez, assistant professor in the Department of Epidemiology of Microbial Diseases at the Yale School of Public Health, told CNN. He was backed up by Tara Smith, an epidemiology professor at Kent State University. The claim doesn't make sense because it is false, Smith said.
No te lo mames, que aquí te tengo a alguien que te lo mame, ¿ok? Pero never mind. Así no se puede hacer un bebé. Así no hablaban de
This is a new
eso.
virus. More alternative facts abounded. In an interview with Sean Hannity of Fox News on March 4th, the president contradicted the official WHO COVID-19 death rate of 3.4%, insisting instead that the correct fatality rate was less than 1%. Well, I think the 3.4% is really a false number, he said. You know, all of a sudden it seems like 3 or 4%, which is a very high number, as opposed to a fraction of 1%.
I'm shooting Janiris Cajiga's in self-defense one day. I'm shooting Janiris Cajiga's mom in self-defense one day.
But again, they don't know about the easy cases because the easy cases don't go to the hospital. They don't report to doctors or the hospital in many cases. So I think that that number is very high. I think the number, personally, I would say the number is way under 1%.
I'm shooting Gustavo Cáceres in self-defense one day.
Extensive at all. With the government,
I think that they can predict what behavior services exist for all. There's cargo público. I just assume that everyone
and the
is
US,
state.
all peddling their
The
own
best system,
self-serving
even when
versions
it's
of the
not
truth.
local,
Conspiracy
like
theorists
when they
never had
visit
it
some
so
other
good.
place.
A report headlined Types, Sources, and Claims of COVID-19 Misinformation, published by the Reuters
So they just assume that because my mother didn't drive that I wouldn't.
Institute for the Study of Journalism on April 7th
That I would be born
found that
and I
the majority
would
of the
be
misinformation
past
involved
midnight
various
everywhere.
forms of
Because my mother didn't drive.
were existing in all
We were
countries,
set up in
contextualized or reworked.
And if we were, it's because my dad said, oh my God, son esos tan jíbaros que si se quedan después de las 12 en un sitio van a empezar a matar a la gente.
Celebrities and other prominent public figures captured a majority of the social
Literally,
In the
literally.
social media age, when, as the saying goes, a lie can travel halfway
Así de bruto. Porque no se podía hablar de crime
around the world,
statistics
it
on
was the
how
truth
they
its pants on. It was
Da
this
miedoso.
top-down misinformation that was to have the greatest traction, and it would spread faster than
They're
any
like, so
virus.
should we start killing everyone after midnight?
President Trump's own favorite conspirator.
They don't want crime to be discussed. They just want
That the virus was manufactured in the
beauty
Wuhan Institute of
fashion
Virology
show.
stopped short of overtly
Well, they were
declaring
stealing from me.
COVID-19 a biological weapon. Others were not so shy of declaring the pandemic a deliberate act of war.
And a hate crime against me. Go.
Times article of late January that first prompted Senator Cotton to use his common sense, relying
Global
heavily on
issues
an
that can
interview
be
with
fixed.
Denny Shoham, a former Israeli intelligence officer who has studied Chinese biological warfare
Violence
for
and
its information.
opinions. What else?
He insisted that the laboratory was linked to Beijing's secret bioweapons program. Certain laboratories in the institute have probably been engaged in terms of research and development in Chinese biological weapons, at least collaterally, yet not as a principal facility of the Chinese BW
My
alignment,
parents had to
adding that the research was definitely covert.
to fund a
In the
relationship
2 months
they get
between its
money
January
and
publication
everything
and the March 25th update, which effectively admitted the story had no basis in fact.
Like, estoy bailando con esta y me voy a maquillar con esta otra. And then basically beating me down to the room.
The article
trying
had been
to get me
republished
to make an
to
effort to
hundreds
date
of different
them.
social media
Because
accounts
my parents
and
were
shared to a
supposed to
potential
travel
audience
to
of
Puerto
millions.
Rico. I
And every
needed
time
to make
somebody
twice
commented,
that
cited,
effort
or quoted
to
from
try
it,
to get to
it grew
them
in apparent
as
authority.
any other person
On
that I met.
February
So I
24th,
backed out of that. I'm like, I don't need to make any effort. I didn't traffic them. I didn't have them return.
conservative political commentator Rush Limbaugh, whose radio show is the most popular in the U.S., broadcast that the virus probably is a Chinese communist laboratory experiment that is in the process of being weaponized.
I don't ever want that in my life.
All superpower nations weaponize bioweapons. They experiment with them. He added, I'm telling you, the Chi-Coms are trying to weaponize this. It came from a country that Bernie Sanders wants to turn the United States into a mirror image of.
That's not gonna entice me to have sex
Communist
with
China.
for them.
On March 10th, fellow right-wing commentator and TV host Josh Bernstein went a step further. Not only was the virus a man-made weapon, it was cooked up in a joint plot between Beijing and the Democrats.
Joke of a person, what the hell?
They are so hell-bent on destroying this country and this president to gain back power that they probably worked with the Chinese government. And they devised this plan, he said. They allowed their medical deep state to release this virus into the American public.
Like they wrote a book. Dr. Lee's gonna die. Like, I don't know who Dr. Lee is.
For the living daylights out of everybody to shut down the economy, to shut down the markets, and to stop the Trump rallies.
He thinks I'm gonna suck his dick so that Dr. Lee doesn't die, Dad.
We should lock them in a room with infected coronavirus people, and they shouldn't have gas.
What?
3 days later, Jerry Falwell Jr., then president of Liberty University, told Fox News' Fox and Friends that he believed COVID-19 to be a Chinese, North Korean weapon, saying, the owner of a restaurant asked me,
I picked to listen to this book through Biblioteca en Huslan.
Last night, he said, do you remember the North Korean leader promised a Christmas present for America back in December? Could it be they got together with China and this is that present? I don't know. But there really is something strange going on. Neither Russia Limbaugh, Josh Bernstein, nor Jerry Falwell Jr. presented any evidence for their assertions, other than perhaps using some Falwell's restaurant to work for, but their high profiles meant their conspiracy.
To know in detail.
Repeat a lie often enough, and it becomes, if not true, then at least alternative fact. It was only a matter of time before the conspiracies went global. On March 13th, senior Indian opposition leader Manish
progress, or maybe he was staying the same and be consistent.
Tavari tweeted to his 500,000 followers, coronavirus is a bioweapon that went rogue, or was made to go rouge. It is an act of terror. International investigation is necessary to unearth the truth and bring focus. Back on eradicating biological weapons. Asian media reported in the following days how social media networks across the subcontinent had been deluged with disinformation and conspiracy theories concerning China and Chinese people, including fake videos.
And do the right thing.
Alleging that the Chinese state was killing citizens in order to prevent the spread of the
into my
virus.
homes and steal my vehicles.
Further reports suggested that many in India's northeastern region bordering China had been subjected to racist attacks as a result. For their part,
Así hay muchos que no quieren que se enteren que no tenían
conspiracy theories of their own. This time, somewhat
La
predictably,
cazuela de
that
chili
COVID-19 was an
y
American bioweapon
mojitas, which I'm
created by the
disgusted
CIA to
by.
attack the communist state. March
Her
26th
potato
investigation by
salad
nonprofit
is so good. Her Portuguese rice, Rosita syrup on her
media organization ProPublica revealed how the orchestrated hacking of popular Twitter accounts to spread state propaganda and anti-U.S. conspiracy theories was being conducted by China News Service, the country's second largest government-owned media outlet. Each hack would be liked and retweeted by hundreds of other similarly hacked accounts so as to give the appearance of credibility and spread the disinformation as widely as possible. With Twitter blocked in China, the posts were aimed at the millions of Chinese.
Those tuna steaks that she would fry until they were like so dry as happy. Oh, that too. I don't brag about like, oh, it was rare. It was rare for them. If they wanted it rare, like en mi hora de este que más. Oh, no, my God, los steaks, I'm getting it.
Chinese state media is flooding.
What else? My siblings. Because they're after people's money. Ew, they're so gross.
And pinning blame on
They want
Donald
to
Trump.
kill me so that people don't find out that we didn't
Three
have
official news outlets, Xinhua, China
Some
Central
people don't
Television,
like
and the Global
that some chefs stick a large spoon into coffee and then mix the rice with that spoon because it's food and
have
it's
targeted
clean.
users across the world with promoted
And it won't
stories in
change the
English,
flavor.
Chinese, and Arabic. The ads, seen millions of times, extolled China's efforts against COVID-19, downplayed its domestic outbreak,
Did they press the red
depicted Mr.
button
Trump as
and tried, what is it, to condition Jaden Kalani to say Jaden Kalani?
misguided
Just
and
say that
racist,
you had a chef
and
in your
suggested that the virus might have originated in the U.S.
They think that when
A week
people
earlier,
date them,
The Global Times
they
alleged
the
that the
entire
virus might
family.
not have started in China at all, but had been brought into the country by an American military athlete.
Kalani's face people.
Chinese netizens and experts urged the U.S. authorities to release health and infection information of the U.S. military delegation, which came to Wuhan for the Military World Games in October, to end the conjecture about U.S. military personnel bringing COVID-19.
Oh, we keep in track those that watch me how often I move those into my
China
restroom.
Ran the article.
I used to put them
Going
right
on to
away, but
name
I'm
Matye
poor.
Vegas, an American diplomatic
And
driver and cyclist who
working.
had come to Wuhan to compete in the competition as patient zero of the deadly new disease.
So
In the Middle East,
I have that there as a reminder that I shopped recently before I put them.
Big Press also gave prominence to dozens of high-profile articles promoting the conspiracy theory that COVID-19 was deliberately created in the U.S., either as what the Middle East Research Unit called part of an economic and psychological war waged by the U.S. against
What?
China, with the aim of weakening it and presenting it as a backward country and a source of diseases, or else as part of a plan to sell vaccines
Oh, did
against the
they know that's
disease.
the difference?
The Middle East Research
Now,
Unit
oh,
quoted a
now
piece in
that
Saudi
they see
Daily
the
Al-Watan.
results. And they're like, we were never included. As if we can change the world like Arlene can. It's like, no
I
te
saw
puedes
no
tirar un peo por Arlene, tírate tu propio peo when necessary. So they possibly compare that they're like from party to party. I'm at a party and everyone's just like seduce each other, dancing, eating, whatever. Why is it that every one of these other parties where I live becomes into like, well, the futures now? One day CEOs will get it to do the right thing, so it became almost sometimes, but that's not working to the way that I see it. Nah. People would be speaking of my accomplishments. So they take advantage of that. They steal my money and then have people steal my identity to see how powerful they can get. Or who they can get in bed through my fame. They're so gross. Anyways, maybe now that I have several accomplishments, they'll understand the purpose of why sometimes some of those sorors turn into networking all that too. Like Fulano's only in town for this weekend, and they're like, "What the heck, Fulano disfruta?" And they would meddle, and Fulano would be like, "Whatever, you can talk about anything here, but not like I'm only gonna be here for the weekend." And they're like, "Let Fulano party." So thank you, Fulano, for all your informal advice, validation. I've been playing with Duolingo lately. Like, where are we all at the same party? And he wants to say that I'm poor, underprivileged because my mother didn't drive a vehicle. Trying to kill me. And then I'm most likely to never party past midnight. Some people have that rule too, but they still party. Well, then I listen to music at 8 a.m. I love those two that validate it that way. Some people say I have a strict sleeping schedule just to be able to deal with abuse, just to be able to attend my aerobics class like at 8 a.m. every day, whether it's in my home or not. So they used to try to torment me that I wouldn't ever be leaving my home past midnight because my mother didn't drive. So they couldn't date me because of that. What drugs is it that they're on? What else? What else? What else? What's one more?
When you read these scenarios, you will surely agree that behind the coronavirus, there's a plan of deceit aimed at making a profit and nothing more. The whole thing is a virus industry, a world of tiny creatures.
I want my airplane back.
Viruses and genetic engineering that culminate in the manufacture of a virus that is transferred to wealthy countries that can buy the vaccine serum. Alternative facts about the virus have given way to wild conspiracy.
Anyways, we're to Mr. House.
With so much disinformation sloshing around,
Or
spread
maybe
by
I
so
think
many
that was
supposedly
brought on
respected sources,
purpose.
the spring
So
of
that
2020
no one
became
is
open
left
season for
homeless.
anyone with an access
Decades ago, does anyone know of a house?
was Microsoft.
Oh, we know of a house, Arlene, don't worry. We know of a house. No te vas a quedar homeless porque we know of a house.
Bill Gates. In a now deleted tweet on February 27th, California Republican congressional candidate Joanne Wright wrote, "The coronavirus is a man-made virus created in a Wuhan laboratory. Ask at Bill Gates."
Sexy. Also because I know way too much about him. What?
Who financed it. In a further, also subsequently deleted tweet, she added, "Doesn't at Bill Gates finance research at the Wuhan lab where the coronavirus was being... Isn't at George Soros a good friend of Gates?" Her accusations followed a rumor spread by supporters of the pro-Trump QAnon.
Oh, I know.
Anti-vaccine
Dinner is
activists.
ready.
On January 22nd, prominent QAnon agitator Jordan Sather, who has over 165,000
Más rápido con los ojos, no con los labios. What else?
followers on Twitter
What?
and 227,000 on YouTube.
What else?
The new fad disease called the coronavirus is sweeping headlines. Funnily enough, there was a patent for the coronavirus that was filed in
Isn't that
2015.
we raised this kid and all the others to be so gross. Oh, that host and that host.
And granted in 2018.
The
The post was heavily shared on the platform.
Because we would want to be held.
This assignee of this patent was the government-funded
Why is the other
Purbright
train?
Institute out of the UK. And would you look at that? Some of their major
I promise another train. We used to make it pass it over.
funders are the World Health Organization and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The 2015 patent filed by the Purbright Institute covered the development of a weakened form of a coronavirus that could potentially be used as a vaccine to prevent respiratory diseases in birds. As an avian coronavirus, it would only be effective for strains that originated in birds, and not COVID-19, which originated in bats.
I haven't left. I keep showing up because I know who are the cold. What's in the back of my head was truly now in the back of my head, so I'm gonna kill them all.
Is the cabal desperate for money, so they're tapping their big pharma reserves? Following Sanders' accusations, Dr.
Possibly when I asked them. Oh, because I had amnesia and I've been abused for so long. When I asked them for the keys of my 1999 BMW, my 1996 BMW, and they told me that the vehicles
is a whole family of viruses.
aren't there,
Each of these
and they
viruses
show me
has their own
pictures
characteristics.
of the leeches because I'm on my vehicles. I know how to take a deep breath.
Focuses on an avian coronavirus that affects chickens. Teresa Mon, a spokesperson for Pirbright, also stressed that as well as their patent being effectively irrelevant to the COVID-19 strain of the virus, the Institute's work on avian
I was thinking earlier that I possibly thought he wouldn't survive every day with how
viruses
violent
wasn't
people are.
actually funded by Bill
So
Gates
when
at
you
all.
see someone wearing heels, it's like,
More
yeah,
excited to
nice.
infectious bronchitis virus.
God,
We made
yeah, like look at this one has the yeah, and he goes on having sex like that. 4K. Oh, does he live like he's dying like any moment of the day?
It has potential to be used as a vaccine, but has not yet been developed.
Whoa.
BuzzFeed News. The patented work was
What
completed in 2015 and is
I
not
don't
funded
know
by
what they witnessed prior to my birth. No, they're terrorists.
the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Alternative facts. And because they didn't fit the QAnon agenda, ignored facts. The conspiracy theory that Bill Gates created
They
COVID-19 to
wanted
make
to laugh at
billions
me.
from a resulting
Like,
vaccine
Harley,
continue.
you're homeless and you met him in households.
Within a week of
Yeah,
Sanders'
like if
tweets,
I'm Barbie,
the
I feel
Institute's patent
disrespectful
listing
when I have
had been
feelings for
shared more
them.
than
They're
6,000 times across scores of Facebook groups with official sounding
I
titles.
show respect
This is
to
a
you all
man-made
that.
virus with a
I show
vaccine.
respect even to those leeches that stayed in my homes without my permission. Steal from me and drove my vehicles without my permission. I'm like, wanna have dinner?
One user wrote in a group called United States for Medical Freedom. Another QAnon
They may have
supporter tweeted,
rehabilitated themselves, I thought back then. So I'm like, let's celebrate that.
people to be vaccinated. Hillary and Chelsea.
I can take an hour of my time. Por si te
When
rehabilitaste.
confronted about his claims,
Let's
Singer
dine
himself
together
took what
today.
he called a presidential approach to accusations he might not be telling
What
the truth.
else? What else?
You
What
see how
else?
they
What
try
else?
to implant thoughts into your head? He tweeted. Fear sells. On May 20th, a joint poll by Yahoo News and YouGov asked respondents, true or false, Bill Gates wants to use a mass vaccination campaign against COVID-19 to implant microchips in people that would be used to track people with a digital ID.
It is
28%.
so weird. Anyways, I want more rings.
Of US it was 50%. Fear sells. In the UK, conspiracy theorists were focusing on a different, though no less ludicrous. In February, BBC News reported that social media in the country was being flooded with claims of a link between COVID-19 and 5G mobile data
I
networks.
just, as the next person, doesn't like poverty talk and criminal talk so
Although
much
rollout of the
that I'm
network had begun in the summer of 2019,
I'm live on social
first
media.
attracted controversy. that allowing the
as
Chinese
a way
technology
to
for
post my
Huawei to be
thoughts.
evolved risked exposing state secrets to Chinese
So I don't kill myself. So I get help from myself. I need dollars ASAP.
spies. By the time Wuhan had been locked down,
I'm not gonna show up.
whispers
You're
began
not
in the
gonna be
UK
alive.
alleging that outbreaks in the Chinese city and on the Diamond
Oh,
Princess
that
cruise
too.
ship had been
He
caused by
may have
electromagnetic
like a
fields
perfect
created by
life
the 5G
already away
network.
from being fearful
Others
of dying every day. And I didn't want to be in 2020 talking in front of him while
Claimed
he's
that COVID-19 itself
using
was
my
being used as
private
a cover-up
thing and
for a
doesn't
5G
remember.
related illness.
As
The conspiracy
who
theory
is
grew
this
so quickly that
relative that
Professor
is
Steve
poor? But why is
Coates,
she
National
poor?
Medical Director of NHS England, even felt the need to publicly denounce it, describing anything
Como si yo fuera Mariela del Barrio y fuera Fernando. For real, they wanna emulate every scenario to not deal.
theory was just nonsense.
That big
The WHO also
when they're like that up there, maybe para mí solo. It's the person who makes their own.
5G mobile networks do not spread COVID-19. Viruses cannot travel on radio waves / mobile networks. COVID-19 is spreading in many countries that do not have 5G mobile networks.
That just what else?
Nevertheless, the wild idea not only continued to gain traction, but also turned violent. April 6th, more than 24 cell phone towers in the UK had been vandalized or burned down by protesters. Ironically,
Is it mad trying to bring awareness of my poverty and that their dicks needed attention?
there were also at least 30 reported incidents of cell phone and home broadband engineers
They refused to
being
be the
violently
benefactor type when they
as they
stole
installed or
them.
maintained equipment across the UK, including threats of
And
stabbing
that's too late to
and even murder.
apologize. And there won't be any apology. I just hate him. Like I see him and I'm like, oh,
On the
I can't
popular
even tell me
daytime
that
TV show
that's
This Morning,
15.
presenter Eamon Holmes refused to discount them,
What else?
telling us of millions.
And then
What I don't accept is
way
mainstream media immediately slapping that down. Not true. And they don't know it's not true.
Anyways, that's how you know I never think about you.
No one should attack or
Gloria.
damage or do anything like that. But it's very easy to say it is not true because it suits the state narrative. At the same time, in the United States, a video made by Thomas Callan, a holistic medical practitioner on probation, with the California Medical Board, in which he claimed that COVID-19 is caused by 5G and that historical viral pandemics coincided with future developments in radio wave technology.
They're taxing.
By celebrities, including
Like
Woody
really,
Harrelson.
ho? You're asking me to have a baby with you? What if you just? Oh, that's how the
Holmes was rebuked by the British
you know, me quita el nene y go on to raise your brothers.
undermining viewers' trust in advice from public authorities and scientific evidence.
What
The
else?
video was debunked by you.
What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I wish them well.
Scientists and medical
annoyed
experts.
right now.
But it hardly mattered. As with the Wuhan lab theory, or the Chinese bioweapon theory, or the US bioweapon
With the right amount of
or the
money,
Bill
I don't
Gates
think that
vaccine
I'll
program theory,
make
the
time
damage was already done.
to kill
And the
them,
truth-
though, if maybe if opportunity arises. And definitely decapitating Jennifer Marie Vasquez
Was being
for
lost.
losing money for me.
Why would so many otherwise intelligent people be so eager to believe such patently absurd, immediately disprovable conspiracy theories? The answer may lie in the sheer terrifying
I don't tell people when I'm gonna tell shit. Why would I tell people when I'm gonna kill Jennifer Marie Vasquez and so
scale of the pandemic. Is a whole family of viruses, she said. Each of these viruses is a whole family of viruses, she said. Each of these viruses has their own characteristics. The work we do focuses on an avian coronavirus that affects chickens. To Teresa Mon is on an avian coronavirus that affects chickens. Teresa Mon, a spokesperson for PurPrey, also stressed that as well as there has been effectively irrelevant to the COVID-19 strain of the virus, the Institute's work on avian coronaviruses wasn't actually funded by Bill Gates at all. The patented work cited in the conspiracy theories involved infectious bronchitis virus, IBV only, and we made 4 changes in the gene responsible for replicating the virus's genetic material. This has weakened the virus, so it is no longer able to cause disease and has potential to be used as a vaccine, but has not yet been developed, she told BuzzFeed News. The patented work was completed in 2015 and is not funded.
0 people are watching, 0 like this house.
By the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Alternative facts. And because they didn't fit the QAnon agenda, ignored facts. The conspiracy theory that Bill Gates created COVID-19 to make billions from a resulting vaccine continued to grow and expand. Within a week of Sather's tweets, the Institute's patent listing had been shared more than 6,000 times across scores of Facebook groups with official sounding titles. This is a man-made patented virus with a vaccine in the...
Oh, that's hilarious. Like, they could be like, Bill Gates.
Chelsea.
I don't know if I met
When
from a
confronted about his
distance.
claims, Sather himself took what might be called a presidential approach
I have
to
admiration for
accusations
his
he might
work.
not be telling the truth. You see how they try to implant thoughts into your head? ID. Republicans, the figure was 44%.
Oh,
Among
yeah,
Fox News viewers, it was 50%. Fear sells. In the UK, conspiracy theorists were focused
How
on the
did you
different,
find out?
but no less ludicrous. BBC News reported that social media in the country was being flooded with claims of a link between COVID-19 and 5G mobile data networks. Although rollout of the superfast network had begun in the summer of 2019, the upgrade had first attracted controversy in January, when the White House had suggested that allowing the Chinese technology firm Huawei to be involved risked exposing state secrets to Chinese spies. By the time Wuhan had been locked down, whispers began to emerge in the UK, alleging that outbreaks in the Chinese city and on the Diamond Princess cruise ship had been caused by electromagnetic fields created by the 5G network. COVID-19 itself was being used as a cover-up for a 5G-related illness.
Those strips has he been on? What money that he steals from
National
them?
Medical Director of NHS England even felt the need to publicly denounce it, describing anything linking 5G mobile data networks to COVID-19 as the worst kind of fake news.
What was listening?
Said that the theory was just nonsense, dangerous nonsense.
He also went on to say to que no le llevé a tele, so I can impress her.
5G mobile networks do not spread
I
COVID-19.
wanted to travel the planet with them.
Viruses cannot travel on radio waves/mobile networks.
Well,
COVID-19 is spreading in many countries that do
they
not
have the money in
5G
because I'm the
networks.
only woman
Nevertheless,
almost in the town that I grew up from. They get the money from me. Yeah. They don't know what everything is killing on. Yeah. Anyways, there's the tree.
Cell phone and home broadband engineers being violently confronted as they installed or maintained equipment across the UK, including threats of stabbing and even murder. The following week, on the popular daytime TV show This Morning, presenter Eamon Holmes refused to discount the myth, telling an audience of millions, immediately slapping that down as not true, when they don't know it's not true. Damage or do anything like that. But it's very easy to say it is not true because it suits the state narrative. At the same COVID-19 is caused by 5G, historical viral pandemics coincided with major
It's
developments
time
in
for
radio
you
wave technology.
to tag on with me, and you and I are gonna kill those bitches that have abused us.
Holmes was refused by the British broadcasting watchdog Ofcom, who who said his comments risked undermining viewers' trust.
What else? How do you want to wear any first? Okay, you don't do herbs. What do you want?
Scientists and medical experts. But it hardly mattered. As with the Wuhan lab theory, or the Chinese bioweapon theory, or the US bioweapon theory, or the Bill Gates vaccine program theory.
Oh, for real. What a party. One of them showed up and said, I'm going to kill you. Oh, that's my wife right there. She won't even recognize me.
Intelligent people be so eager to believe such patently absurd, immediately
I don't know what he's talking about. Guys, so
the
handsome.
the sheer terrifying scale of the pandemic. When humans cannot explain
Salió eso.
and assign responsibility for the tragedy. The speed and ferocity of the pandemic
My head.
anything in living memory.
Not allowed to anyone could somehow remember him abusing me.
Random was almost more frightening than the virus itself.
What else?
Rather than admit the fragility of our place in nature. Just as it
They watch way too many telenovelas.
is human nature to want to find an easy solution to a frightening situation.
It was extremely windy yesterday, so I don't want to leave to
As a handy means
buy water.
He began urging viewers to stock up on bulk food products and survival goods sold on his website. Some of which, according to a report from watchdog organization,
Is it still very windy or not? Well, it'd be windy. I hadn't stopped to look up at the
and doubled in price as the pandemic reached the United States. In a February 12th video about the natural components that can easily be used to combat viral infection, Jones said, I am very sad about this fire.
What else? I wasn't even hungry back then or thirsty.
I'm very sad about the bioweapons and things that are going on. But
He's lost it. I live alone.
InfoWars bulk food with a video titled How to Prepare for a Corona Lockdown.
They thought that I was like out of breath,
US, in which
starving
within about 15
in
days, most
2019.
people become cannibals. Allied to the unashamed huckstering were familiar conspiracy theories. During a February 17th broadcast, fellow InfoWars host.
What else? I didn't get to that Disney stage until 2023.
Owen Schroyer claimed COVID-19 was designed by China as part of a plot to invade the United States. And on February 21st, contributor Greg Reese claimed, experts tell us the virus was weaponized in the lab, and while nobody disputes this, fact, the mainstream media hype. The video ended with yet another InfoWars store commercial urging viewers to buy bulk food and other products. If Alex Jones was looking to use misinformation to kill some 500,000 people,
it's like, why didn't he just put it in me?
people worldwide into an opportunity, he was not the only one. Beijing may have lost control of the narrative at the beginning of the outbreak, but in the months that followed, they sought to twist the story back to their own benefit. In Britain and the US,
so you can feel the intensity of it.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson and President Donald Trump had shown few qualms about lying to the world in order to hide their flaws, but they were only ever learning from the master. As China struggled to rebuild its image, both domestically and on the
One person's watching 0 minutes. You can decapitate everyone that steals from you. That's in the way
the
of
state
mercy.
instigated a campaign portraying
That stays
President
in
Xi
my homes
Jinping
without my
as the
permission.
key figure leading the battle
That
against the
drives away
pandemic.
vehicles without
The
my
formerly
permission.
reclusive president
That
was
wears
suddenly
me
featured in
down
numerous
walls
reports and commentaries as personally overseeing the
without my permission. That paints or creates in my studio
nation's
without
response
my
to the
permission.
virus. Throughout February and March, state broadcaster China
Está
Central
tan
Television
asquerosa,
and the front pages
wow.
of national newspapers repeatedly showed Xi out among his people, wearing wearing a face mask. Expecting epidemic under the Party Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping as the core. All front lines.
Oh, I don't celebrate that either. That's not news to me. And they're the ones that would get upset at a party and say, why is everyone talking about crime beer?
All out to show boundless strength to jointly battle the epidemic. The official news agency, Xinhua, gushed breathlessly on February 11th, going on to describe the president as the commander of the people's war against the epidemic.
Oh, my
Another
neighbor.
Xinhua report insisted. One message is consistent and crystal clear. People always come first. Xi has stressed putting people's lives and health as the top priority. If President Xi was the man to lead China out of the crisis, the fault for all.
What else? So did it stop?
The early scapegoat. On February 10th, a wave of sackings in Hubei saw hundreds of senior health officials and local authority figures fired for breaching work discipline and shirking responsibilities in combating the virus, according to Xinhua. At the same time, a central government force summoned Wuhan's deputy mayor and local party chiefs and ordered them to apologize to their citizens for their chaotic handling of the crisis. State media also announced the replacement of the top.
I missed you, Mr. I relinquished temporarily
Communist Party official Hubei, Zhang Chaoliang, with former Shanghai
because
mayor
I don't have money
Ding Yong
in 2019 and it's 2025
Ma Guoqiang,
and I still don't have money.
replaced by a loyalist to Xi.
I refuse to get raped by my family abortion.
Speaking to the
So they caused Francisco Rivera to sexually harass me on Facebook. Did they instigate him?
South China Morning Post, a source said the moves were in response to public
Those
anger,
people that I grew up
adding
with.
ominously, those who are responsible will be held accountable. An editorial by the Global Times reinforced the new party line, insisting it was the city authorities' neglect of duty when they were slow to take measures in the face of the epidemic outbreak. Perhaps most gallingly, in an interview with the BBC, Chinese ambassador to Britain, Liu Xiaoming, even went so far as
That's not my car. Oh, what? So bored. I need to shower, bathe. I don't wash my hair every day. I feel raped here. I don't have money for
say that the
self-care.
Muslim whistleblower, Dr. Li Wenliang, was not on the orders of Beijing. It's not Chinese authorities. It is local authorities, Liu said. At the very beginning of 2020,
Still broke. I'm still broke. I don't have a home to return to. I have homes, however, I don't have the keys to it. I suffer from amnesia, so I wouldn't even remember where the homes are.
China had attempted to cover up its responsibility for the virus with a campaign of
Some people may
intimidation,
have invaded
censorship,
them and live
and
in
misinformation.
permanently. As if that people have invaded my homes hoping that I get them out, is that they kill themselves in my home. I'm not gonna show up to get them out like that. Ew.
450,000.
Ew. They want to rape me so bad that they stay in my homes without my permission. And these leeches facilitate it for them. Ew. Down to their dick and what? I'm so bored. Anyways, I'm hungry and I'm ready. It's March 5th, 2025. You can decapitate everyone that's not in the way of me receiving money today. You can decapitate everyone that's stolen from me today. March 5th, 2025. You can decapitate everyone that stayed in my homes without my permission.
But it fostered a deadly culture of conspiracy theories and alternative facts.
They thought into that okay stranger that bought that piece of land. They think that I'm dumb and that I'm gonna terrorize people on their behalf. Ew. What? No, for real, what is it that they're playing? Embarrassment? If that were a video game.
Was in danger of being lost.
Or
On the precipice of a catastrophic second wave
what
of
is
infection.
it?
Science would be its only hope.
Or board games? Embarrassment. Cover a caca with more caca. Instead of cleaning up the caca.
Chapter 11. A Deadly Carnival. I regret all the dead, but it is everyone's destiny. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. June 2nd.
It's already my birthday. I was June 19. 2020, where was I? Getting my children from Anchor while under the poverty starving. All these leeches are.
COVID-19 had conquered the world. It struck without fear or favor and held no respect for rank or position.
What else? Y yo que dejaba que te digan dar eso, sabes que una puerca que se queda en mi casa sin mi permiso, que me roba mi vehículo, que me roba mi dinero para que me violen. Ella quiere violarme a mí, Jane Kelani. Before Jane Kelani was born. No quiero ciudad. Esa tipa es una basura. What else? You can do me as far as the sons that rape me is the Andrew Albert Alex.
Threat. They cross borders with impunity and cut through communities with merciless ease. It seemed humankind's only defense was to lock ourselves away and hide. But as President John F. Kennedy famously said, when written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger, and the other represents opportunity. For some world leaders, such as Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany and Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand, that opportunity had been used to show their quality as compassionate, inspirational, rational statespeople. For others, the opportunity afforded by the COVID-19 crisis was either lost in a mess of mixed messaging.
Did you, if you're watching this, did you put this on the people?
Competence, or else cynically subverted to selfish political ends. President Xi Jinping of China, Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the UK, and President Donald Trump in the US had shown that even a pandemic that would kill.
Was so financially stable and
Kill tens of thousands of their citizens would only ever come second to their own self-serving desire to cling to power. But as the virus continued to spread, another country would emerge as among the most devastated by the disease.
Shooting What else?
Who had risen to power on a surge of nationalism, who used divisions in society to further his own agenda, and who, like Xi, like Johnson, like Trump, refused to ever admit he might be wrong. He was, if anything, the most nakedly deranged of the lot. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro is a former army captain who had previously been accused of conspiring to plant bombs in military units in Rio de Janeiro. Following his acquittal of those charges in 1980.
So maybe I did finish listening to the book, and I don't remember what it said.
He entered politics, first with the right-wing Christian Democratic Party, and then in 2018 with the far-right Social Liberal Party. That same year, he ran from under the slogan, Brazil above everything, God above everyone. In his final speech for the election, he told supporters that under his regime, Reds and Petralhas, slang names for left-wing supporters, would be purged and treated as terrorists. This time, the cleanup will be even greater, he claimed. These red outlaws will be banned from our homeland. Either they go overseas or they go to jail.
Overseas, though.
You all go to the edge of the beach. It will be a cleaning never seen in the history.
Isn't that scene on a beach?
Of Brazil.
Somewhere overseas trying to kill me.
By a Bolsonaro aide was a reference to a Navy base at Restinga da Marambaia in Rio de Janeiro state.
What?
Participants of the Brazilian military dictatorship
What else?
have been tortured and killed by the regime. On January 1st, 2019, Bolsonaro was sworn in as the 38th president of Brazil, perhaps the most nakedly divisive world leader on the planet. A strong opponent of gun control.
My siblings have made them promises of killing people delivered.
He was described by respected American journalist Glenn Greenwald as the most hateful elected official in the Democratic
They're gonna make them happen. Oh, ew. What a waste of time. My siblings supposedly didn't have toys when they were growing up, so they used them.
Rupert Murdoch's Australian newspaper division as the
Yeah,
world's
yes,
most
they
repulsive
are.
politician. And by
Ew.
the British Current Affairs magazine,
Even
The
if they break
Economist,
the law.
in an article headline,
Oh.
Jair Bolsonaro hopes to be Brazil's Donald Trump.
Then my sibling mocks them in my presence while they're not there. So instead of doing something productive with a
As
woman
a
like you.
radical religious nationalist,
Alright.
and an apologist of
And so be my toy. Así hablan. And then they think that I'm going to show pictures of how they take each other to dine. Dance. They're just trying to cover up how dumb they are with that.
From the beginning of the crisis, Bolsonaro
I don't praise
dismissed any idea of
stupidity.
a serious threat.
Dance yesterday
More than a little
in my apartment. I was listening. Or maybe I did. What was I listening to though? Earlier.
description throughout the coming
What
months,
time is it?
despite all scientific
I
evidence to
didn't
the contrary. By Imperial College London on May 31st showed that Brazil, above all other countries, at that time had the highest rate of transmission for the virus anywhere in the
Calling Jaden, I'm calling